Welcome to episode 3 of the LARP Fight series. In this episode we'll be going over cutting and transitioning or changing between different cutting angles. If you haven't already, I'd recommend watching episode 1 about stance and grip, because this entire episode is assuming that you have watched that and we will not be going over that content again. I'll provide a link below in the description for anyone who hasn't seen that yet. We'll be using a series of numbers to represent the different cutting directions, so we've got a common frame of reference when referring to these cuts in later videos. So to go through the different cutting directions, I'll explain what the different numbers that we'll be using to represent the cutting angles. The first cut is from right to left, diagonally down. This is generally the most powerful cut and the easiest to do for a right-handed swordsman. The second cut is its mirror, left to right, diagonally down. Third cut, right to left, diagonally up. Fourth, left to right, diagonally up. Fifth and sixth are the horizontal cuts, and seventh is vertically down. Most sword systems don't really have a vertically rising cut. However, if you want an eighth cut, you can substitute a thrust or a stab in there instead. So the first guard that we're going to explain cutting from will be high guard. So if you're not aware of what high guard is, I do recommend watching the previous videos which explain how to adopt this position. From high guard, if you want to cut diagonally down, simply let the tip go to the outside of the body and bring the hand forward. From high guard, let the tip come to the outside of the body and bring the hand forward. Same thing happens to the other side. Let the tip go to the outside of the body, bring the hand forward and down. From high guard, you can do the same thing for horizontal cuts. Let the tip go out, except you let your hand fall and come forward. Same on the other side, let the tip go outside, let the hand fall and come forward. When doing rising cuts, you simply let the hand fall further. So the tip falls to the outside, the hand drops all the way down and forward and up. And the other side of the body, the tip goes to the outside, the hand falls all the way down and you cut up. Obviously the upward cuts from the high guard are a slower cut because the sword and the hand have to travel further. So one of the advantages of middle guard is that you can cut in most directions quite easily. Your sword is not held high nor low, so it allows you to cut from that middle ground quite effectively without a great deal of motion. So if you adopt your middle guard, good feet placement, knees bent, sword forward, all you need to do is move the tip of the sword to the outside or the inside and then raise or lower the hand. So if you're doing a downwards cut, you move the tip out, raise the hand and then cut down. If you're doing it from the other side, move the tip across, raise the hand, cut down. If you're doing the rising cuts, it's the same thing, but lowering the hand. So move the tip out, lower the hand, cut up. Move the tip across, lower the hand, cut up. When doing the horizontal cuts, the hand stays at pretty much the same level. So when you're in the low guard and you're trying to do cuts, obviously you can bring the sword across and cut up. Bring the sword out and cut up. If you're trying to cut down or horizontally, the best way is to bring the tip of the sword to the outside, raise the hand and cut from very close to a high guard position. So let the tip come out, raise the hand, cut down. Let the tip come out, raise the hand, cut across. You can let the tip come out, raise the hand across the head and cut backwards. So there's various forms of cutting that you can do. There's only a few angles that it's very difficult to cut from. So we also need to go over what happens when you finish a cut. Obviously most of the time when you finish a cut you want to change into either another cut or a blocking form. We will be covering blocking in a later video as well. For the moment we'll just discuss changing between cuts. Changing especially angles of cuts. So if you've cut down, a lot of people will just lift the sword off and cut down again, in this sort of chopping motion as if you're using an axe. With a sword, I far prefer to transition through a circular motion. So the way you do this is when you're cutting, once the cut is completed, you let the tip continue through and you roll the hand over. So if the sword is cutting through and your palm is facing upwards, let the tip continue through until your palm is facing downwards. And then you can cut back from that side of the body. And when your palm is downwards, let the tip go through and roll the palm until it's up. And you can keep going through. When cutting horizontally, it's the same. Palm up, palm down. When cutting up, palm is facing out, roll it until the palm is facing in. It's the same sort of process, and it gets very efficient and very effective and very fast transitions between cuts. So thanks for watching this episode of the LARP Fight series. I hope you enjoyed it. Obviously we've got big plans for this series. There'll be many more videos upcoming. We'll be aiming to get one out per month. If there's any comments that you have, please leave them down below. And if you like what you've seen, please subscribe.